Yo, what's up? It's Jay Dennis, back with another demo release. This one's special. This is where lyrically things start to get a little heavier. The song is Meanwhile in Denmark. So there's some inside jokes with the title and some of the lyrics. I'm going to go over those before I show you the song. This is a song that, out of most of the demos, probably got a little more notoriety. It was on my Facebook page for a while. I had people approaching me about being in their band and citing that song. They're like, "Holy shit, you're good." But like I said in the last video, I don't hold on to that stuff, and if I know that it's going to compromise my vision, I don't pursue it. A big thing I had to get over, which wasn't huge, but I had to get over it anyway, was like, no matter how badly people wanted me to be a guitar player, I became a vocalist. Because I'm still a guitar player, but people wanted me to join their band as a guitarist because they heard my guitar playing, they saw it, they saw my live energy, but then they would discount my vocals because my guitar level was so much higher. So I was pretty much always at a deficit, but I just kept pursuing, I kept going. Like, you hear all these success stories about people, they just kept trying, they just kept going, they just kept breaking out of the mold, kept just fighting back, and they got what they wanted. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm at. That's where I'm at. Meanwhile in Denmark, some of the lyrics were written when I was in Denmark. This is another song that came out in the summer of 2012. So summer of 2012, the first 3 demos came out. Were Made, Suppressing Serenity, Meanwhile in Denmark. Meanwhile in Denmark was recorded with the same guy as Suppressing Serenity. Bass guitar, guitars, analog. Just like Suppressing Serenity were made, drums are programmed. This one's got a very Memphis May Fire, post-hardcore, you know, the guitar riff, very rhythmic, you know, but instead of just being like a generic breakdown that follows the double bass drum, the guitar works actually like it's not easy to play. This song probably showcases a little bit more of my not my virtuoso. I'm not that good. What's the versatility? Versatility. That's what I was looking for. With my guitar playing, strong rhythm. Put a lot of work into the melodies and the solo section. This song, again, it's a demo, but I was happy enough to release it and have people listen to it. And the reason I said it gets heavy is because despite my high self-esteem and my, you know, fuck you to normal mediocre people attitude, that, you know, only fuck you if they tried to bring me down. If you're just living and let live and you're just not hurting anybody, that's not about you. Despite all that stuff, I'm a human being. I'm human. And I get depressed. Doesn't happen very often, but 2012 was a very up and down year for me. It was post losing a bunch of friends and my band. And fun fact, I've never been kicked out of the band. I just wanted to clear that. I wanted to clear that up ahead of time. The band fell apart in other ways. I've never been kicked out of a band, nor will I ever. But yeah, so 2012 was a very up and down year, and I wrote a lot of this stuff in the midst of some very sad and depressed feelings. And you would probably derive some really heavy shit from some of the lyrics and go like, "Holy shit, are you okay? Do you need to talk to somebody?" And yeah, it got a little dark there for a while, but it's part of life. It's a part of life, and I love myself way too much to do or even think about any of that extreme shit. But it was kind of a dark period. You know, you lose your friends, you lose your band. Like, it fucking sucks. So some of these lyrics were born of that. But meanwhile, in Denmark, the title comes from a meme that I made when I was in Denmark. A buddy of mine from Singapore and me were sleeping on a couch. We were napping, not together. I was on the low part, he was on the high part. And, you know, memes were starting to get really popular, so I made a meme. I just said, meanwhile, in Denmark, because that was a meme back then, the whole meanwhile in something. So that's where that came from. The second verse, where I scream, "Geez, woman," that's an inside joke between me and my friends from Denmark. That's not literally me screaming at a woman in the lyrics. It's an inside joke. Because I say, "Geez, woman, why did you try so hard to give me so much? I've had little from the start." You see, like, some of it sounds a little melodramatic, because I've had abundance for a lot of my life. So in the description of the video, you read the lyrics. Don't read too much into them. There's some authenticity in there, but there's also some superfluous, you know, they're just lyrics. A lot of the lyrics in there are very, like, literal and very real. Like, how could I be so wrong again to put all my faith in the wrong friends? Like, that's, you know, when I sing it and when I scream it before the bridge and the solo, that's as real as it gets. So it's got that little guitar intro, and then it kicks right into a hard-hitting verse with, like, hard-hitting vocals. My vocals come out stronger in this song. This song's in drop D also, but because I'm doing the whole, it's in the key of E. I'm singing in the key of E, which originally this song was written in drop C, so the way I wrote it would have been in the key of D. It sounds happier, it sounds more fun when it's in C, it sounds more serious, and it sounds more melodramatic when it's in drop D. So, you know, for the time, at the time, it worked, but if I go back and redo this song, I would drop it down to C again, because I originally recorded a demo, which that's probably nowhere to be found. An instrumental version of this. It sounds way happier, especially the outro. But the intro, welcome to a life that's so inviting. Angels and demons have been so enticing. Standing on my shoulders, or spending so much time on my shoulders, telling their stories as they weigh me down to the ground. So very literal shit. This is the only song that I've ever written that has a time signature change. And I wrote it on accident. All of my music's in 4/4. Alright? But the pre-chorus is in 3/4. So it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the pre-chorus 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's the only time I've ever written a time signature change, and it happened on accident. Very empowering chorus. I'll say it again as I said it before. Life has no end if you open the door. Like, do the thing. That's what I've been saying. I have nothing to live for, were the last words I said. Oh yeah, were the last words and then I go into a scream, that whole leading up inflection thing that I talked about in Suppressing Serenity. Same idea. A little more aggressive here. Were the last words I said before I opened up the fucking door. I cannot take this anymore. Although the lyrics say this won't consume me anymore, but did it differently in the studio. Melodramatic. I was depressed. And I'm not trying to write that off. They were valid feelings. Like, I felt like shit. But that year I ended up getting a lot better, and a lot of good changes ended up happening. Much like Suppressing Serenity, hard-hitting verses, you know, a nice melodic chorus. I'm really big on bridges and build-up and nice guitar solos, and then just a hard-hitting outro. The outro lyrics are the ones where there's two layers of vocals, basically like the angel and the demon talking to each other, fighting with each other, but like I'm ultimately like in control and like I got this shit. So like, depending on which layer you hear more of, one layer is stand with me as I refuse to struggle on. I'm not born to lose. My life's not over. It's not my time. As hard as you try, I'll keep what's mine. I won't greet death warmly by the hand. You just can't seem to understand the human in humanity, so won't you please just let me be? Basically just telling the negative feelings to fuck off. Again, death is a little extreme, okay? But, you know, it's just, it's for the sake of the show. And then the other layer, or again, they're talking to each other. It's, this isn't right, this I know. There's been a great deal of conflict, a sea of unrest. This repetition can't be won when your fallacies come undone. And I'm kind of just saying them. They flow better in the song. But lyrically, this is where things kind of start to pick up, get a little heavier. Even if a little bit of it is showmanship, it's very heavy stuff. And this is where like things are starting to kind of tighten up. I feel a little more pride in what I'm writing as a solo artist, and starting to get a little more notoriety. I never got anywhere near where I wanted to be with this. It wasn't my top priority. I was doing it, but I was also going to school and trying to figure out my finances and work and living situation and all that stuff, dating around. But this music is a stellar soundtrack to what I was going through earlier this decade. So I really hope you're finding value in these videos and these explanations and in the songs themselves. So, meanwhile in Denmark, enjoy the song, share your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next one.